Oh man, I hadn't thought out how to play the intro. Oh dear. Oh yeah, it's working. Tales of the Trench. Low MMR Dota with Major and Angel Master. Alright, there's the intro. It actually worked. If you're listening, welcome to Tales of the Trench. I'm Angel Master, and this here is Major.
Hey, it's gone.
So, Major and I are seriously scrub tier Dota players. Um, what's your MMR on your main account at the moment, Major?
Oh, 1800, 1900.
I think
Pretty
it's
low.
on my main account. Let me bring up my Dota buff. It's dropped recently. Oh yeah, I lost a bunch of games. I've dropped down to 1700 now. Uh, so yeah, not looking amazing.
But it's all fun.
It is. But obviously, don't listen to us for amazing tips that are going to win you pro tournaments. We're here for the everyday scrubs who want to hear people of their skill level discussing Dota. So, Major, what have your Dota games been like this week?
Or if I've been able to get a Dota game this week.
Oh yeah, servers have been a
Yeah,
nightmare.
yeah, hasn't been easy. Just recently, it's just been a lot of just leavers every game. You get in a
Oh really?
game after maybe 10, 15 minutes, it's just someone abandons quite commonly at the moment.
Do you reckon
Couple
is it
of
because of the reborn people having problems or
I don't know. I haven't had any connection problems. I've just had the particle drops and the heroes loading in that aren't heroes. They're just kind of like blobs of moving creatures that are shaped like the hero.
yeah, I have seen on Reddit though that some people have had crash bugs. Um, but yeah, no, my recent games have had more levers and disconnects recently too. So yeah, I'm not sure.
I, I think it just has. I think it has got a lot to do with the reborn. Hopefully, by the time all the mages are over and done with, it'll all be ready.
Yeah, I know they're ironing bugs out quickly, but I wish they'd got around to making it a little more polished before they forced us to use it.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem is that
Uh,
it just
do
isn't
you
polished.
do you ever get that when you use voice chat, you get like a strange geometric shape coming up on the screen?
I do not have a geometric shape coming up on my screen.
I saw it on one of the Beyond the Summit streams, and I was like,
Actually,
and I was like, oh, at least it's not just
yeah,
me that gets that weird sort of semi-transparent shape that just appears when someone's talking.
I have seen that actually recently.
That's the most
But my
annoying
games
one.
overall lately, my win rate's on the way up. My last 10-ish games, I think I'm like 8-2.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, 8-2 in my last 10. And my KDA is climbing up as well lately because I stopped playing support every game.
yeah.
So instead of Sid,
I stopped playing
instead of,
support altogether, and initially my MMR dropped, but I've won the last couple of ranked games. But I haven't been playing ranked much recently because I've been trying to play unranked, practice playing some carries, so that when I play ranked, I actually know what I'm doing. Last game I actually
well,
played
I've just been
was
playing.
Broodmother. That was a lot of fun.
Thing I've had with a lot of my games recently, it's either one team stomps or the other team stomps. There hasn't seemed to be any close fights at all. It's just one team gets a few kills in the early game and then just they all snowball. Like just the gold per minute difference and the gold overall difference has been huge.
Yeah, okay.
Just that's but a thing I've been realizing lately. It has none of the games I've played of like I'm going through my Dota buff now and all the wins have been 25, 30,000 gold and experience difference at the end of the games.
Yeah, because my most
Actually,
recent game, it's only the last, like it blew out in the last 5 minutes, but um, so the other team were up by 4,000 gold, yeah, 4,000 golden experience with about 35 minutes in, but then within 5 minutes we swung it back around to a 10,000 gold and experience lead, and then demolished them.
yeah, that's what I've been finding out. Like it's either that someone might leave, so you're then fighting 5v4 or the other way around. But there was a game where I was playing. I was playing random and a random PA, and our Bloodseeker was like 15 and 2 at about 18 minutes into the game. And I was just farming in the offline end of the game. We ended up with 28,000 gold difference. And that game only went for 35 minutes from the 28,000 gold difference.
Yeah,
Haven't had any. There's not been no big comebacks or anything recently.
yeah. I've actually had fairly good games recently. Like, they haven't been the sort of trashy trench tier games that I normally expect. I've actually had people using their microphones, actually communicating, trying to work as a team. Um,
Actually, I had a couple of those the other day.
but yeah, I haven't been playing that much normal Dota. I've been playing mainly custom games. I've been playing so much epic boss fight.
Yeah, it's quite good. Then the problem with some of the custom games is if you do join a game such as oh, mental blank at the moment, Overthrow,
Yeah, yeah, overthrow.
where it's where there's no skill based matchmaking, so you might be playing Overthrow solo or Overthrow duo, but if we partied up, we're only say 17, 1800 like players, and then we
Yeah, yeah,
might
playing
be up against some players that are
get destroyed.
and they have their MMR. The biggest I've seen was like 6.2k.
Yep.
Just
I
the
played
skill
a
difference there.
Yeah. Yeah, the skill difference sometimes is quite large. And also, like, some people it's like their first time playing the game, and other people have been playing nothing but Overthrow or whatever custom game it is for, for weeks. I started playing one called Angel Arena.
I've never heard of it.
It's really weird. I didn't even know what the sort of end objective was. It didn't explain it in the notes. And then suddenly it was like, "You win." I was like, "What did we do?" And someone on the team helpfully was like, "We got to 72 kills. That's how you win." I was like,
So
"Oh, okay. Oh, I thought we had to destroy their base. Okay, never mind."
yeah, I've just been started. My last 3 games, I've just been working my All Hero Challenge.
Oh yeah, I should get back into that.
So,
I haven't.
well, now you get the way the leveling system works with trophies, and you get trophy experience for each hero you progress.
Ah, that's cool. Yeah, no, I
Yeah, so
dropped the All Hero Challenge um, back when I was trying to gain some MMR a little while ago, and then again dropped it when I was trying for compendium points or leveling up the compendium
yeah,
with the international.
I got to play a offlane farming Venomancer the other day. That was a fun game.
Ah, yeah,
The team we all random ended up with a Lion, a Wisp, myself as Venomancer, a Bloodseeker, and a Huskar. So they let me farm in the off lane. That was
Yeah.
quite a fun game. There, everyone was talking, and it was one of those games that you're just happy to play. You know, it was a typical kind of a trench skill game where you know the items are very weird. The other team, some of the players didn't understand how their heroes worked, but
Yep.
it was fun.
Yeah, and that's the main thing.
Like
All
yeah,
right.
they had a clockwork. Just didn't understand how hookshot worked.
Ah, who did I play? So hang on, I need to look this up. It was hilarious. Come on, load.
Have you been having a lot of pudges in your games lately?
Yeah, Pudge has come back. Like, I mean, when I first started playing, Pudge was sort of first pick mid every game. Then he
But that's
disappeared.
when he was actually skillful, when he was worth picking. But
Yeah,
now that he's dropped off a lot, he seems to be in a lot of my games recently. There's always Pudge mid. Which if you can play Pudge, you don't mind.
yeah. No, I played a Pudge game recently. I quite enjoy him. It's really satisfying landing those hooks.
Oh
Try
yeah,
not to
that's for
play him too
sure.
much because I'm not very good at him. But
I've
he's
been
one of the
playing.
few
I've been
mid
starting to
heroes that I
play.
can actually play.
Oh, so you don't have that go-to mid hero?
Well, if I play Zeus, sometimes I'll play him mid, but because my weakest, like mechanically, I'm weakest at last hitting, and mid is all about that.
Yeah, that is true.
If I'm forced to play a mid, and again, seeing as that's what people like to play, they always call mid. So it's very rare that someone calls jungle, someone calls solo off lane, and then you get a pair in the safe lane, and they're like, "Oh, you should play mid." I'm like, "Oh, great, I'm an awful mid." So yeah,
Yes, my best role is sitting in the just usually sitting solo in the off lane. Thing I'm usually good at is just sitting there and not dying. That's what happens when you support. You get used to doing everything you can to not die,
yeah,
and then you realize that you have twice as much health and items as when you're a support, so you don't die.
yeah. All right,
Not
all right.
20 minutes into the game.
Let's move into our first section. Bad habits. Uh, so what we'll
Where do we
do in
start?
this, yeah, what we'll do in this section is we'll just talk about a bad habit that we see in the trench tier, and yeah, we'll talk about why people do it, um, how you can politely tell them to not do, other people to not do it, and how you can avoid it yourself, and what the best thing to do instead is. Um, so this week, the bad habit that we're going to be looking at is communication in picking, or no communication during the picking stage. You know those games where you call mid
You'll
someone
pick an
else.
invoker or a sniper or someone like a typical mid hero, and then they'll fifth pick a pudge and then be like, I'm mid or
Yeah,
feed, or I'm mid, or they don't mid, they just abandon the game.
yeah, and that's what really gets me is, I mean, if someone, like, halfway through the picking stage says, "Oh, actually, I really like playing Pudge. Can I play my Pudge mid? Your Zeus could do okay off lane," or whatever, then I'm more than happy to, accommodate. But it's those people who, when you've got a mid, you've got a safe lane, you've got an off lane, you've got a jungler, and you say, "Hey, we really could do with a support," and then they pick a hero that could only be played in safe lane, or yeah, like you've already got a Spectre, and then they pick an AM, And you're like, oh great, an anti-mage and a spectre. It's
Yeah, so
so
you
much
get
farm to go around, not.
you might have an Enigma or a Nature's Prophet that needs that jungle, or is it quite dependent on jungle farm, or even a Sand King.
Yeah. And you're like, oh great, I'm going to have to mid Nature's Prophet. This is fantastic.
Hey, that don't knock it till it's right.
But yeah, like I think the reason that you see a lot of this is because people are so used to no communication in like in the skill level that they're in that they just assume that they'll they just yeah, they just don't communicate at all and they just pick what they want to play and they don't think about the rest of the team at all until they load into the game.
And
Um,
then they get annoyed at you because you, like you say, you might have first pick Spectre, and then they pick an anti-mage, and then they get angry because they go, "Oh, I need farm more," or but you've said, "Hey, I want the farm."
yeah, and I mean that's I'm like if someone really, really, really wants to go mid, it's probably because they can only play mid. And I'm versatile enough that I can play most positions okay. Obviously, support is what I've played most of my Dota career. Um, but yeah, and so I'm more than happy to take whatever positions left. So I've played support Rickies before, or I don't know, off. Yeah, I played an offlane Spectre the other day. Just be, yeah, because that happened. They picked a. Oh well, it wasn't even no communication during draft. It was just no communication at all. They picked a Phantom Lancer and took him safe lane, which is where I was intending to go.
Yeah, that happens quite a lot.
And I wasn't going to compete with them for safe lane farm, so I was like, well, I'll just take the one that's left. Uh, yeah. And there was a
And it's a
Lina
big
in the
problem.
off lane too that, again, was trying to
Gonna
take all
want
my
to farm.
last hits. I'm like, come on.
I
Yeah,
think it's a problem in every tier though that you see. Like, there's a lot of games, even if you just watch some Twitch streams, until you get above or think about the 3K, it's going to happen that people go, "I can only play this role," and that's why I think all of us get stuck in a bit of a level because we're not versatile enough.
yeah. I think my problem is I'm too versatile. Well, I major in support, but then I sort of hate learning one hero to be really good at that hero. Like I like to be able to play every single hero,
Yeah, which is fair enough.
and to climb MMR, I think I need to like pick three heroes that I'm really going to focus on.
That's probably the best way to do it, is pick some heroes. But then you don't want to also get into that next level if you do start to get about 2.5k, where you're then that limited, and the higher up you get, the better the counter players are going to be.
Yeah,
So
although
if you just am certain heroes, other than someone like a Leshrac or a Bloodseeker or a Tinker, you're going to just get countered as you get higher and higher up.
yeah, although if you've already got a fairly good game sense, but you're just playing different heroes every game, and you're sort of every game's sort of a bit too different for you to sort of see what mistakes you're making and stuff. Whereas if you focus on a couple of heroes, you can see, you can easily compare, like, okay, well, in this stage of the game, I'm doing well, so last hits I'm doing well or badly, and mid game I'm getting ganked too much. And whereas if you're playing different heroes every time, because the way that the game is shaped around your hero is going to be very different. Sometimes it might be hard to see where you can improve. But
That's
yeah,
definitely true.
if you're just
But
going to start off and just say, "Hey, I'm going to play this broken hero as till I can get as high as I can," obviously that's not going to work very well for you. But
the
yeah,
only problem is, though, if you play, say, a hero like a sniper who has that crazy range, yeah, you might become very good at last hitting and fighting, but then very easily to be countered sort of thing. So all you got to do is pick a very strong melee hero, say a PA just absolutely destroys a sniper.
Yeah, no, that's true. And for that reason, I really think that I'm going to try and find a couple of quite different heroes. Like, I think I'm going to pick like a couple of supports that I can play if four carries have already been picked, and then a couple of carries that sort of have very different, yeah, like very different. So maybe like a sniper for those sort of long range easy pickoffs, and then a Spectre for a late game carry, and then I don't know, like a I haven't thought enough about which heroes I'm going to choose, but like picking some different carries that I can play in different situations, but then just get good at those heroes.
Like you said, you also want to be able to communicate that to your team. So you say, "Hey guys, I want to pick a Spectre. Can I get a good support in lane that may not be the best fighting support, but you might want a really good zoning support. So you might ask for someone like a Bane who right clicks incredibly hard early game.
Yeah, yeah,
Has a 70, about a 60 right click damage.
yeah. Thanks for bringing us back to the communication in picks topic, Josh.
All good.
Yeah, so the other reason why communicating during picks is so important is, yeah, obviously that team makeup. So it's not only which lanes are fighting for farm, so that you don't end up with 5 hard carries, but it's also, as you said, so that you can get some heroes which synergize well in lane, and so that you've got enough farm across the whole map to go between the heroes that you choose.
We're going back to say your Spectre. Like, you might go, hey guys, you might could say even a jungling one seeker you can even have an offlane seeker if you want to have a Spectre and a mid zoo, so you have that real big global presence.
Yeah.
But you're not going to be able to do that unless you are able to talk to each other, and
Yeah.
that's another problem about being in the lower MMR bracket is people don't have the skills to play a quite a good jungling Bloodseeker, and a lot of people can't play Zeus very well, and then Spectre is quite a hard hero to be able to play successfully and farm well on, because she does take quite a good 20 minutes to half an hour to come online.
Yeah, she takes a long time to get online.
And that's if you just that's if you get quite a lot of last hits and are a good farmer and don't die.
Yeah, which I'm not. So I keep using Spectre as an example, but I don't think she's going to be one of those heroes that I pick.
No, well, see, I think that's everyone's biggest problem. Everyone in that MMR has. Well, that's why in that MMR you have severe problems that you just can't deal with.
Yeah.
Mine's when the laning stage ends. I can sit in the laning stage and not die against an aggro try, but when the laning stage ends, I don't know what to do as much. I kind of just my farming efficiency drops incredibly. I think that just works. Everybody, like everyone's going to have their own things they're good at. Like you said, you're a support, and that's what you do. But there's probably aspects of your supporting that you need to work on, and that's why you're in that MMR.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So let's move on to our scrub pick of the week. So what hero at the moment do you see that is one of those heroes that is easily, well, not easily, but is able to be countered, but because of the skill level we're at, just seems to dominate at our skill level? Which heroes?
Riki, Sniper. Take your pick, really. Like someone like a Riki, what you gotta do is
all right,
pick into a bounty hunter.
Let's have a look at Riki. So why is Riki so annoying in our skill level?
Well, because no one wants to play sentry wards. Or dust.
Yep.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah, you put your finger on it. Yeah, even if you are lucky enough to have 2 supports, that means you're just going to have 2 people who are going to blame the other person for not buying the sentries.
It's the problem, like, and a lot of people down in this level don't play Bounty Hunter or a Slardar.
Yeah, that have the true sight.
Yeah, so heroes are, Bounty Hunter's quite easy to play, but someone like a Slardar does, you got to be careful, because if you don't get going early, you can fall behind, and he's quite, he can't really flash farm on a slider
Yeah.
unless you go well in your laning stage. And I remember the other day, I was playing a game. This relates into the picks, and someone on our team first picked a Ricky. Oh no, sorry, a guy on our team first picked a slider, and on the other team they picked a Ricky with one of the, right as the time was expiring, and I said, "Oh, it's that. Why would you pick a Ricky into a slider?" And then two players on my team then were like, "Oh, that doesn't even make any sense. Like that, how does slider counter Ricky?" I'm like, well, his ultimate gives true sight. It's like, yeah, but you got to see him first. Why not just buy a sentry wards? And I'm like, well, slider's a carry, so by the time, slider wouldn't buy sentry wards. You get him a quick level 6, and then you don't have to worry about sentry wards. You can get true sight all over the map, and they just didn't understand the way that he countered at Ricky. And I'm just saying that, it's better to just pick not just pick any other hero, but buy sentry wards.
Yeah. Yeah. And
it's stuff like that.
That Broodmother game that I played the other day that I was telling you about earlier, I thought I was absolutely done for because I picked a Broodmother and then the very next pick was a Zeus. I was like, oh great, they've counterpicked me.
But no Earthshaker?
No, I was expecting a Zeus and then a Earthshaker because there were just a couple of picks left on the other team. But I don't think the Zeus even realised that his W gave sight.
Yeah.
Oh dear. So, yeah, and the Zeus even laned against me, and I just picked him off so often.
He should realise it. Look, I press W and have vision.
Yeah, and he should have countered me so hard, his arc lightning jumping between my spiderlings and me.
Yeah, the flash farm.
But he was just so bad. I cleaned him up so easily.
Yeah,
it was a little bit embarrassing.
I had a Broodmother game the other day where I was solo offline because we had a jungle hero, and I started the game at 5-0, just against a dual lane of Spirit Breaker and Juggernaut. They're two incredibly strong heroes and tanky heroes that they just didn't seem to understand how Brood worked, and they got sentry wards, but I was able to de-ward instantly because I had a Tango.
Oh, nice. I really like that change to Tangos.
Yeah, see, game sense like that, which that you just don't think about. We ended up throwing a 5k gold lead and losing by 25,000 gold, but...
Oh dear. Alright, so not buying sentries, and not having the sense to counterpick. Also, dust is also something that doesn't seem to exist at our MMR sometimes as well.
Well, it does. Smoke doesn't exist in our MMR.
Yeah, those sort of support, or
true support
anyone
items
can buy them, but
they're true support items.
Yeah, but those consumable support items, the last time I saw a support that wasn't me buy a smoke in one of my games. But dust is again because Ricky has that has blink. He's really quick to move around, but he's only quick to move in attacking. So if he jumps on you and you can get a dust off, then the rest of your team can focus him down, even if he ends up picking you off.
Well, then, you see, a lot of Rickies in our MMR also don't build diffusal blades. So they get dusted, but instead of just going, hey, I'll purge this off, they'll just try and stand and fly, and I'll build a Mask of Madness and a Mask of Madness crit Skull Basher, so that they don't use his abilities. They don't go, hey, Agi, the more Agi items I have, the more damage I do on backstab.
Yeah, but then again, the Rickies don't need to build those diffusal blades because they don't get dusted. Like, I mean, that's how
Yeah,
they can get away with it. But yeah, that is the best way to counter that dust. So
but
yeah,
then I think
how else can
item
you?
sense is probably the biggest thing
Yeah,
in this
come on
level
now.
as
We're
well.
not
Like,
trying to encourage people to pick Ricky and trash.
oh
We're trying
god,
to tell
or like,
people how to
if,
county Ricky pickers.
look, not even that. Like even someone like a Drow, who doesn't get built correctly, I see in this MMR level. Like the first, someone will go, treads, which is normal, but then their first item will be a Shadow Blade or a Silver's Edge, and I'm like, you got to get at least maybe a Yasha or a Manta style, so you have that overall stack gain. John
Yeah,
Drow, she's a glass cannon, so you need that damage, but you also need the survivability.
yeah, and especially
And
before you like. I mean, you should have your treads well before you get level 6, and if you don't have your
for sure,
ultimate with the agi gain there, you need something like yeah,
yeah, and like I don't mind, a late game Helm of the Dominator to turn into a Satanic works as well if you want to stop on your way. So you just want to get a helm, so you have that lane sustain, or you can jump into the jungle if you want. But I feel at least just a Yasha before you build anything else.
yeah. All right,
And
so let's focus back on Ricky. So
new, not Ricky.
so pick Ricky, dominate, but actually that's another way to do it. Don't think that you can pick those heroes that dominate you to gain easy MMR, but do play a couple of games as them because that is a really good way to find out their weaknesses.
Well, I remember when I first started playing Dota, like, this is probably sub 100 hours into the game. I'm like, I'm like, I was talking to a friend who got me into the game, and I'm like, oh, who's a good hero to kind of, you know, get a couple of big kills up on? I was like, oh, play Ricky, So I played Ricky, and I went like 32-1, and I had like sub 100 hours, and I was like, oh my god, this hero is a god. So I'm like, oh my god, I'm going to spam pick him. So I picked him the next game and got absolutely destroyed because someone on the other team
Yeah,
knew what sentry wards were, knew what dust was, and knew what a gem was. So I just got absolutely wrecked.
yeah, that's the thing.
So it was like, the first game they had no idea what invisibility was. So I had all these items and it was on a tear. And then the next game, they just they played smart and picked items, and I didn't last very long.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on to uh, the next segment, MMR climbing tips. So
Play
everyone who
Bristleback,
finds themselves in our trench, the trench that we reside in,
sub trench.
yeah, one of the things that we all want is to gain some of that juicy MMR and climb our way out. So what's the thing that's been working lately for you, Major, that's helped you win some games, or that you've seen helping people, yeah, climb that MMR just a bit quicker?
For me, it's been winning mid. So it's because that's if you're playing in a solo lane, it's the one lane you can kind of, if you win it, guarantee that at least you've won one lane. If you play mid smart, you have the tier 1 tower before you start to move around the map too much. So picking heroes that are abusable mid, and once again is not commonly picked in our MMR, or really people know how to counter. So a TA works very well.
Hmm.
A Viper, because no matter what, you're going to be a strong laning presence. They're the two heroes I've been kind of trying to climb out with a little bit.
Yeah.
Viper mainly because he's dirty, but it works. It's a
Yeah.
shame, but he works because he's just not known. And same as TA, no one really knows how to counter a TA.
All right. Yeah, for myself, as I was saying before, since I'm awful at last hitting, playing and winning mid isn't an option for me. So what I've found recently is just changing from a support to a carry role has really helped me, yeah, in gaining more MMR. Just because as a support, if no matter how well you play, if you're a hard support, you're never going to be able to take down the enemy towers and barracks and actually break that base, which is what you need to do to win. Whereas if you actually are able to kill other heroes and have enough damage, like even if the rest of your team are severely underfarmed, you can always backdoor or rat if they're able to hold off. Like as a support late game, if you've just been buying wards and dust and smoke all game, by the end, all you were good for is that high ground defense. And if your carries are absolutely hopeless, then yeah, that late game, it rests entirely on them. And like you said, you don't have like the winning of the game. You're not
You're
able
just holding
to,
out.
yeah, you're able to contribute, which is good. And if you have a good carry, then that's fine. But I found that winning and losing is actually on the shoulders of the carries, and so you're able to affect the outcome of your own games if you play a
I
carry.
also feel that
I still enjoy
good-
playing supports more, but yeah, for climbing
I enjoy
MMR,
playing ports with a good carry.
yeah, exactly. So in party MMR, I'm more than happy to play support, but solo, I'm going to pick
Yeah.
someone who can have an impact every time.
We, I feel like one of the biggest problems with climbing MMR is that I do it myself, so I can't be bashing people on this, but playing for the meta, like I don't really, no one in the low MMRs pick meta heroes. That never changes. I'm sure. I don't know if that's the same way in your games.
Yeah,
Like, is there any Leshrac or Bloodseeker spam in your games like you see in all the high level games, or even Gyrocopters, like any Gyrocopters? Or
I've been seeing a fair bit of Storm,
it's
a bit of
he's a
Gyro, plenty of Bloodseeker. Because Bloodseeker and Storm Spirit, they're meta heroes that are also those heroes that people don't really know how to counter very well
and can stomp with.
and can stomp with.
I don't really see any Leshracs picked up, or
But yeah, Leshrac is one of those heroes that, yeah, if you don't get a good lane, then
yeah.
you're
But you
just
see,
done for. And so
you
people,
see 6K players stomping with Leshrac though.
yeah, exactly. But well, sometimes you see 6K players stomping through their Smurfs. But other than that, you don't really see them.
I mean, but like, you see a lot of people that say they're using Leshrac at the moment, but each meta they change hero. So last meta, it was the sniper and
the troll.
the troll warlord spam every game.
Oh, every game.
But and even in my MMR, I had that troll every single game, and I reckon it took a good. Oh, I reckon it was up until about TI. I was still getting sniper and troll every second game.
Yeah.
I think it was until about TI started.
Well, yeah, it was still leading up to TI. I was still getting people who were picking sniper and dropping shrapnel on the towers and going, "Oh,
I
why
still
aren't
get
the
that.
towers?"
I had that the
dear.
other day when
It's like,
because I usually
have you? So you haven't played Dota for when was that even patched? That must have been like 9
a
months
long time ago.
or more.
Oh, 'cause, my versatility stat in Reborn is like 0.99 or something like that. It's random every single game.
Yeah,
Because I know random sniper the other day, and I was just playing my mid, and I was attacking the tower, and someone's like, "Why don't you shrapnel tower?" And I'm like, I'm like, "Huh?" Like question mark, and he's like, "Oh, shrapnel damages towers." Oh man, it hasn't damaged towers since for about 6 months, and he refused to believe me that shrapnel did not damage towers.
oh dear. Yep.
So I linked him the patch notes when I died.
That's great.
I was down for like 40 seconds, so I quickly found the 684, is it? Patch notes? Too short
I
patch.
think it was the one before that even that it was patched out.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, no, it was because the shrapnel stopped doing damage to towers in the same change that they changed it to the charges,
Oh, yep.
which is when sniper became the meta pick. So
Bloody sniper in the meta pick.
all right, well, that's the end of the schedule for this show. Yeah, so I think that didn't go too badly for the first show. We won't
Quite
be back next week at this time since Major's heading off on a holiday. But
I am. I'm off to Vanuatu, LeFou, and Noumea.
oh man, that sounds so nice. But yeah, so in a fortnight's time, Monday in a fortnight's time, we'll be back, and then we'll be back weekly from then. So thanks for listening, and yeah, we'll see you in a fortnight.
Yeah, see you later,
And
guys.
of course,
Thanks for tuning in.
yeah, if you favourite on Twitch or tune into the website, you can hear some of the other shows that we'll be playing through the week.
Yeah, so I think it all worked out pretty well tonight.
Yeah. So I'm Angel Master, and this is Major, and you've been listening to Tales of the Trench.